Japanese body horror. Why should you care? Because societies increasingly turn us into machines, and our machine minds and bodies rebel against us. Tonight, this is a cautionary tale, and we want you to watch this. Tonight's episode is body horror in black and white. It's music video, metal factory iron, pumps, tubes, pipes, self-modifying metal flesh. It's gear and wound. It's sadomasochistic, toxic, femdom sex. It's so dense with violence, movement, and transformation that it's a masterwork. At the same time of FX, editing, jump cuts. Whether you love it or you hate it, it's gonna hurt. It's Shinya Tsukamoto's 1989 film Tetsuo the Iron Man on Watch This with RickRamos.
There are certain films that have a legacy, have a reputation that don't necessarily exist in the shadows, but definitely are either an acquired taste or a thing that are not built for mainstream audiences. And it's the work of Sakamoto is definitely within the realm of a cinema that you wouldn't necessarily recommend to people. And I call that's not dismissive. When I say that films like this are films that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to other people, that's more of a disdain that I have for popular culture and audiences than for anything having to do with the quality of a film. The truth is, when I watch a movie like this is not an enjoyable experience, but it is an artistically challenging experience. And I think when you see films from directors with true vision, and I mean, a vision is a vision, and a lot of, I wouldn't dismiss a Spielberg or Hitchcock, Scorsese, people who are telling linear stories that are meant to entertain as well as challenge the art form. But when you have something like this, you have to know somebody well enough to understand their personal tastes, attitudes, and whether or not they're going to embrace something, because films like Tetsuo, The Iron Man, Bad Lieutenant, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, even Blade Runner, at a certain time in movie history, would have been the type of thing that somebody would take a step back and say, why the fuck would you recommend this to me? And there used to be a time as a movie watching elitist where I would say, well, just fuck them. Now, and write off basically relationships in that manner. At this point, I accept the fact that most people are not ready for this type of thing, might not ever be ready for this type of thing, because they're not. Everybody has something that challenges them to a degree. I believe we all have something that challenges us. Cinema is that thing for me, and I've been dismissive of films. I'm not going to lie about that. But when I watch something like this, there are certainly problems that I have with this film. But the power of the film, the imagery, the cutting, the ideas behind it are so overwhelming that I have to, and I can only speak for my tastes in movies. What I'm watching is true a director's art. I think Sakamoto is an incredible filmmaker. based on this one film alone. I've never seen anything else in his work. I recently picked up the Arrow box set collection of his works, and I'm looking forward to digging deep into it. My fear is that nothing that he does after this is going to be as good as this film. But I'm excited to see. But there is something to be said about a mind that has the vision to put something like this on the screen is going to wow you at the very least in moments of everything else he does. So I'm interested, I'm excited, and I'm very open to what the rest of this box set is. Now, that being said, let's jump in as my usual lead-in question, Mr. Chavez. What is your relationship to this film?
My relationship is always basically walking down the street from Eraserhead and wound up at the intersection of fucking Tetsuo and Iron Man. And I've been kind of not turning away, that's a little bit, but to a degree turning away from Hollywood. I'm over it. You know what I mean? And I'm interested in what else? What the fuck's out there? What's out there in and I mean, and this was to a degree coming from fucking watching Stalker, you know what I mean? Or to a degree from fucking Bellatar, who just died not too long ago.
I was going to mention him,
and you get to a point where it's like Jake the Snake Roberts talking about drugs and sex and porn or whatever the fuck, and he's just like, for the next thing you know, you're with like a midget and a pistol, you know, like you just got to keep up to the ante. And it's kind of like that's where I'm at. And look, I can go back and I can watch fucking E.T. and I can fucking whether I say that E.T. has AIDS or not, I can say I can watch E.T. I can do Ghostbusters, and the nostalgia and all that still has its place, and I'm still about that. I'm gonna fucking Leslie and I are gonna go watch Blade Runner. Again, still my favorite movie. 2 weeks from now, we're gonna go watch Blade Runner with a live music. So I'm still about the nostalgia. I'm still about sci-fi, whether it's like particularly like VHS type of shit. But this is kind of if I had a little video store, like I've been discovering little video stores, making friends with some of these shop owners and shit like that. And I'm like, if I had one, I think this would be one of my films in there. And I'm not coming from a place of like recommending films to people via this show. I'm thinking of it more in terms of like, I want to expose people to shit, not just like, hey, yeah, check out this movie. Like, everybody's doing that. Whoever's in the film is doing that. Like, WatchThis with RickRamos is that Ludovico technique in A Clockwork Orange. We're prying your fucking eyes open and we're saying, watch this, motherfucker. Like, don't look away. Watch this. Because there's something to be experienced. There's something to be gained. There's something to be learned from. It's not just, all right, Pornhub fucking done, one and done, or whatever the fuck, or however you do it. You know what I mean? Like, this is on another level. And that's my relationship to the film. The film excites me. It's so fucking free to be itself. It's based on the premise of a fetishist who starts to insert metal into his flesh. He gets run over by a salaryman and his girlfriend, and then fucking that leads to this Cronenberg-esque experience of metal transformation, metal sexuality, and a violent iron showdown. And everything that means to the body. And now that's the fucking plot line. Societally, what does it mean? It's this guy, this director, was obsessed with Godzilla, apparently, and he was doing student films, he was doing student theater, inspired by Blade Runner, that's 82, inspired by Videodrome, and that's 82 or 83. He basically develops what is going to become his own version of Godzilla. And Godzilla is a society piece about paranoia and about the United States and post-war. This is a society piece about the salaryman in Japan. It's a comment on Japan's techno transformation and its urbanization, where Japan is the body and the fetish and the pain, the mutation. And as Japan had to quickly modernize and go from feudal to industrial into techno society, you have the industrial music, you have the dehumanization. In this case, you have metal as the new flesh, to take from Videodrome, versus media. In Videodrome, it's media, which is the new flesh. It's the medium is the message. This is metal is the message, because we are transforming. In Blade Runner, it's androids are the new flesh. What's real? Who's real? What makes you a person? This is like, we're not the same anymore. We're not people anymore. We're now fucking part of that industrial. We're products. And how does that piss you off? How does that manifest itself in rage and in sexuality? The movie is a fucking onslaught. It's put under the cyberpunk genre. Cyberpunk is like a older throwback sci-fi term. William Gibson is probably like the most famous of those writers. Neuromancer, he coined the term cyberspace. He did Johnny Mnemonic. The Matrix is very much influenced by his shit. It's basically what he calls high-tech, low-life, noirish, dystopian, hacker, those types of things in future metropolises that are also fucking gritty and dirty as fuck. So that also feeds into like Blade Runner. This is more, like I said earlier, Eraserhead. It's like in LA, you have these kind of like industrial wasteland type of cities, where it's just like factories, warehouses. You'll see maybe fucking strip clubs or a fucking bar or something like that around there, because the men, they have to get men to go spend their fucking money and blow off some steam from their pipes. And it's in that kind of environment, very Eraserhead-esque as well, where it's this drab, black and white, gray, fucked up world. And out of that come these monsters that are organic, but also like out of this world. And in Eraserhead, you have the factory god or whoever's pulling the fucking levers of humanity. Here, it's just fucking, it's like cancer. It just blossoms horribly. And it's expressed through violence and sex. And it means a lot, but it also takes you on a fucking ride. And so I enjoy this film. It's going to become part of my rotation. Even if it's not a walk in the park, it's a fucking crawl through the factory grit. But it's painful in the best of ways for me. What was your reaction?
Well, as I was watching it, I thought I was overwhelmed by a lot of it. I think the only problem that I really have with it is that it's 100 miles per hour and it never stops. It's relentless, and he's packing a hell of a lot into 67 minutes, which is about at the very least 23 minutes shorter than the normal narrative film. He doesn't give you a chance to breathe. So if you're not ready for what he's about to offer, it's something that it's an overwhelming beat down to the senses. I mean, it's very hard to watch this movie, and I've seen it twice now. And it's crazy because the second time I saw it, I was like, when the fuck did that happen? You know what I mean? Because I was coming off of a regular shift. Um, Made myself the first time I watched it, made myself some coffee, watched it, but it was so relentless that I started to drift a little bit. It kind of concussed me in a weird way where I just kind of had to pull into myself for a second because I couldn't handle what I was watching. Um, Granted, I was tired. I had just come off work, but I do, and this is two or three nights ago. I'm thinking to myself, I do remember as if this was picking this up out of Tower Records, 30 years ago. But like I do remember 3 nights ago watching this and not being able to get around it, not being able to really being unable to absorb everything, so that when I watched it the second time, there's a part near the end of the film where the main character is attacked by a homeless man. I don't remember seeing that the first screening. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, and it's like, and it's the kind of thing that scares the shit out of me because it used to be where I could watch a movie any hour of the day, anytime. I could watch multiple movies in succession. I could tell you what I saw. I could break it down. I knew names, and it was instantaneous. And I can't do that like I used to. I recognize that in one instance, but to be, I have a feeling that I checked out of the movie the first time because I couldn't handle it. It was too much. It was just fucking too much. And so when I put it on again last night, I started 2 or 3 hours earlier and I watched it, and um, I was really overwhelmed. I was seeing the same. It was like watching. It was like watching a dream that you've had. You know, when you wake up from a dream and you can remember the dream, but you can't remember every aspect of the dream. There are some of it
Right.
comes in, some of it goes out. You know the main idea, or at least the structure of what you were seeing in the dream, but it doesn't make sense to you. That's what this movie was like the second time that I watched it. I knew that I knew that it was a good film the first time that I watched it. But the second time that I watched it, I realized what a great film it is. Um, and I think it was the second time that it started making me think. I didn't watch the film thinking, oh, he got this from this and he got this from that. But I could see elements of Blade Runner in it. I could see elements of Cronenberg and David Lynch, but thematically, I was thinking Kafka,
Yeah.
and it was. I don't. I don't normally like metaphor in film because I think most directors or writers handle it badly. Where with this, it was go all the way. go overboard, take it to its logic, find the line and not just step over it, but leap over it. And I felt like this was a director that just didn't give a shit about how you felt about, he didn't care about making you sick. He didn't care about whether or not you could keep up with it. He was going to hit you with everything that he had, and you were just going to absorb it. You were going to take the beating, because this movie's a beating. I don't see this movie as any kind of. I had a girlfriend that I showed her Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and she told me that it triggered shit with her, and she remember, and it was a hard watch. I didn't get that feeling because I've never been in drugs, so the movie didn't affect me in that way. But I have worked myself. I've overworked myself at various jobs and have lost perspective. When like you go in on a Wednesday and you don't know. No, let's say it's Thursday and you're not sure what day it is. You don't know if it's Monday. You don't know it's not Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, but it's not your day off.
Yeah, but you don't know
because every day's a fucking Monday.
Yeah, you know the day that you've come back from work because you've been rested and you're pissed off about that. You know that it's not the last day of work because at least you have a day off or 2 days off to look forward to. It's that middle period when you've lost perspective. On a 5-day work week, it's that second and third day when you're like, shit, this thing is eating me alive. This job is like a cancer that's overwhelming me. And that's what this film is. The salaryman. If you know anything about Japanese culture, these men, particularly men who work these jobs that just eat them alive, destroy their soul, fuck them up.
Subways.
Yeah, they die on subways. Yeah, and in some sense, it's an aspect of the culture, but at the same time, it's something that we all go through in a manner of beating the shit out of ourselves with either alcohol or drugs or sex or just mindless sports. This film is like a slap in the face of everything that is wrong with a capitalistic society that destroys the individual. And as I was watching it, I was just overwhelmed by my shit job and every shit job that I've ever had. It's a hard watch in that respect, but it's something that visually I'm falling in love with. I mean, I don't know if the sequel could possibly be as good as this because the sequel is a bigger budget and in color. There's something about low budget making every negative aspect of film production work in your favor on this film. And there are elements of, there's Lynch, there's Cronenberg, there's a little bit of Sam Raimi in there, there's Kafka, there's, in a weird way, there's even Cassavetes there where it's like, fucking make the movie. This does not seem like they waited for permits. This feels like get in there, get the shot. Not to mention the fact that they lost crew in the year or so that it took to make this film. By the end, it was the director and Tamaro Tatsuki, I think, the Tamaro, his lead actor, his lead salaryman, Tamaro Taguchi, who were doing the setups, shooting, later on editing. I think this is a testament to what auteurism is, first of all, but also the
Yeah.
collective nature of a film production in achieving a visual style, but also a statement. I think the guy is really saying something with this, and I'm excited. I'm excited to dig into everything else that he's done, or at least
Yeah.
the stuff that's going to be
No,
available to me.
no fucking punches pulled.
Yeah.
As you said, I mean, even if it's not a fucking like, yes, this encapsulates the machinery and the monstrosity
Mhm.
of the like end result logic, the logical conclusion of capitalism, production, consumption. But even like even if you look at like agricultural society or any kind of like human endeavor, life demands more. Like whatever the fuck you do, even if you're a creative person, like you have these things bursting out of you, um, you have to get them out, or they're coming out without you, or else they're not coming out, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Um, or you do this one, already we're fucking thinking, well, what's the second one like?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then there's a third one. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, we all become machines of whatever the fuck it is that we engage in. And if you work on a farm, well, it's this harvest and now it's the next one because you need it. If it's your breakfast, well, what's for lunch? Life itself is this fucking endless, like Jack Kerouac has that line, the wheel of the quivering meat conception turns in the void. And that is so much a part of the human condition, is that there is a machinery, there is a mechanical nature to it as we perceive time. Whether it's just fucking like linear, checking off these fucking boxes on a calendar, or cyclical when you're tied to, you know, the heavens and the fucking earth. There's still a wheel, there's a machinery to that too. Whether we think that we live in a clockwork fucking universe or not, there are still some types of gears, metaphorical gears fucking turning. And our body, as it develops and evolves and devolves as a fucking product with a fucking expiration date, like our body fucking helps us achieve things, but ultimately also betrays us, as do our minds. And this kind of works societally, but it also works because it's tied, because it's the body horror. It's embodied fucking it's like an embodied drama. It's not just interpersonal, political, socioeconomic, blah blah, like, oh, this character is going to tell the other character not what they think, but some whatever, they're going to lie to them, or they're going to do this and piss them off, and like a stage play. This is like, whether you have words or not, the body expresses everything. And so whether it's these pipes that come out of orifices and go into other orifices, or one character tells another, he asks, do you want to taste my sewage pipe? In a violent sex scene. And there's a fucking phallic drill that fucks and kills.
Yeah.
It takes it from the most like basic, that even like an elementary school little asshole kid could draw these fucking could draw a drilled dick and be like, that could be considered immature or fucking vulgar, or you know, you get called to the office for that. But at the same time, it goes to the deepest levels of like Freud and fucking psychology, and rings true like across all fucking like cultures. You know what I mean? Like whether it's think of fucking Stanley Kubrick, 2001. It's these ape like proto humans or whatever the fuck beating each other with bones, throws it up into the air, it transforms into um, this fucking space station, like floating through the heavens type of shit. Um, this kind of film touches on that because it goes from the most elemental aspects of like our flesh and bones to the most technological. This isn't about iPhones and fucking all that, or AI or robots or androids, but it is about things that human beings used as tools along the route to get to fucking basically AI. We have fucking Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, etc. And the interface between our flesh and bone with those tools and those technologies, like that's a constant. As long as we have a body and we live in this world, like we are going to be up against the materials that we use and we create, and how those things change us, how they affect us, how they destroy us, how they harm us, and how we basically like merge with them. And at this point, people, I mean, they've been talking about this RoboCop and all that shit since decades ago, cybernetics, Neuralink, all of this kind of dystopian shit that these oligarchs are into nowadays as well. This is just on a basic fucking like street level shit. A dude with a fucking drill for a cock and metal growing out of his body, ultimately gonna fight another guy who's basically infected him with that same kind of metal energy. And at the end, it's kind of like, well, how do we participate in this shit? One guy says we can mutate the world into metal. We can rust the world into the dust of the universe. It becomes, well, if you can't beat them, join them, you know? If you can't get out of it, get into it. And it's fucking terrifying. I don't look at this film, I go, this is fucking cool. The stop motion, the jump cut, the special effects, I see that and I hear the music and I say, I see the aesthetic and I go, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to be these characters. Like, I want to be the director. I don't want to be these characters. I'm about the vision. I'm not about what it is that's envisioned as it would affect me. That's fucked up.
This is definitely not the kind of film that you imagine yourself going into. This is not the hero's journey in the sense of this is the challenge that I want to undertake. This is the you know what I mean. This is I need to get away from this. I need to get this is a warning to the understanding that the job, industry, your family, the monetary needs will control you, eat you up, destroy you, and force you to become this different thing if you don't recognize it. I mean, I see people who, like I said, it's people lose themselves in a lot. People lose themselves in alcohol, drugs, sports, sometimes gambling, because they need to feel that their lives have some kind of purpose. I don't know how. I've never worked a job where I didn't have people tell me how much they hate the job, or me in turn telling them how much I hate the job. But it's necessary. It's the kind of thing where it's like, well, if you want to live, if you want to feed yourself, if you want to keep a roof over your head and lights on, you're going to do what's needed. If you want to attract, for men, if you want to attract a woman, you need to put in that you need to give yourself over a little bit to the industry. Sakamoto seems to recognize that, but also recognizes how much you stand to lose in doing so. And it's extreme. There is no subtlety in this movie. There is no nuance. This motherfucker is hitting you with a sledgehammer, and I think the movie is better for it. I don't know if the movie could. I don't know if you could expand this movie to an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, for the simple fact that it's number one, it gets done what it needs to get done in the amount of time that it has.
Yeah, it doesn't need it.
It doesn't, and it feels like a much longer movie, but not in a this is dragging sort of way. It feels like a much longer movie in that you walk away from it thinking, that was an assault. This movie is an assault on the senses. It really doesn't care about how you feel. It attacks you in a way that most filmmakers are afraid to do, because it's not financially viable for them. This is not the kind of film that this is not going to be the next Disney release. Disney is not, even through Miramax, they're not going to they're not trying to acquire this kind of film to put out. This is niche. But for those who are willing to challenge them in such a way, I think that you can walk away with a better sense of the world around us. And if you're an intellectual who is open to the dangers of the world that we live in, you can really teach yourself a great deal by watching this movie. This is one of the few. We talked about Ron last week, and it was, I think, what set that film apart from most films is the humanity that is within it. And people have this idea that humanity is a gentle, sweet kind of we take care of each other type of thing, when humanity is actually, at least the way I understand it, the factors that make us human, which is both caring for one another, but also the greed and the selfishness that goes with being human. I mean, that's the way, I could be mistaken on that, but that's the way I interpret the word. This film is almost it's almost like the job of a salaryman, or the job of just a factory. It could have been a factory worker. It could have been somebody who, a manual labor, a waiter, a waitress. It could be anybody with a job. I personally believe that jobs demean you if you don't recognize them for the danger that they are. If you understand going to a job that I still have a responsibility to myself at the end of this 8-hour shift to do something for me, to exercise, to engage with a friend, to meet up with somebody and have human contact, and grab coffee, grab a meal, just to not be dismissive of human relationships. And that's another aspect of the film, is that he's becoming a machine, but a machine that destroys everything around him. And we kind of do that ourselves. Yeah. In at the end of the 8-hour day, I don't know how many times I don't have a woman to blow up on, so I blow up on my family. I blow up on my mom. I blow up on my nephew. I have those shitty days, and I take it out on them. Sometimes knowingly, sometimes it's just it comes out because the job. You find yourself being ground down by some asshole supervisor, some asshole manager wanting you to give more than what you should be able, what you should have to give to the job, and the only way that you can redeem yourself in your own mind is to take it out on somebody else. That's why, you know, in some cases, that's why you see people be assholes to waiters and wait staff, waitresses. A lot of times it's somebody who feels that they're not valued and they're abused on their job, and they need to take it out. You know, shit rolls downhill. And every time that you have an opportunity to fuck with someone, unless you recognize it for what it is and you accommodate it, you find that moment to meditate, to stop, to breathe, to realize it's all bullshit and there's not a goddamn thing that you can do about it except to find that fire within you, that you know, that, like Bukowski said, it would slowly turn into an ember. But even an ember has the potential to grow out of you, has the potential to create a forest fire. I mean, as long as you keep that part of you to yourself. I mean, but I've never seen a film that encapsulates it so beautifully as is this film. And this is the kind of film that it, like I said, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, that was just too much. It's an assault on the senses. You can't. I didn't realize it until we talked about it today that my brain shut off. Probably 3/4 of the way through. I think I lasted about 3/4 of the way through on the first viewing, but my brain had to shut off in order to protect myself. It's fucking, I don't exaggerate that. I don't, but, and you don't even realize this is not something that you're going to get from a Marvel movie. This is, you know, you shut off with that shit in a completely different way. This is the kind of movie where you're shutting down because it's like, my life cannot suck as badly as this movie is making it out to. But the truth is, yeah, it does if you don't recognize it.
I mean, you have toys. Some films are toys, and other things are tools. And this is a fucking tool. Yeah. This is I mean, this speaks to Metropolis. This speaks to fucking, this speaks to that Chaplin movie.
Modern Times. Modern Times.
Where he's going through Modern Times. Where he's going through literally being fucking going in between the gears, going on the fucking machine wheel. Like, this is that shit. Yeah. Except it's so internalized that you're not moving through the machine is moving through you. Yeah. You fucking are the machine now.
Yeah.
And not only are you transforming into a machine, now you're liable to start fucking getting rust. And the rust also spreads like a disease. So it's not only the times, it's the effects of the times on you. Which is like, you're double fucked, and how that affects you. And it's like, are you man or machine? Are you human or machine? Are you woman or machine? Are you whatever the fuck you are, which makes you who you are versus what you are as a thing? That's what this fucking movie's about. And that's why we're forcing you to watch it. Donate at buymeacoffee.com/watchRickRamos. Why the fuck should you donate? Because in a world increasingly filled with noise, with empty content, where we are becoming these machines, we're giving context. We're talking about more than just entertainment. Again, those toys. We're talking about challenging ourselves and those of you who are up for it and wrestling with those meanings. And we know that our show has meaning, but let us know that it has meaning to you. Go to buymeacoffee.com/watchRickRamos. Every donation matters. Small dollar amounts. They work for us. Watch this. Do not look away. Until next time. Goodbye.